Hello, welcome to the weather update. It is June 22nd, around 9:30, and I'm looking at this other satellite. We got barely any rain today, which was kind of a surprise to almost everybody. We just had a lot of clouds. The rain was kind of held off to the south, and if you were in New England, you had mostly sunny conditions in New Hampshire, Vermont, New Hampshire, and parts of Maine, and maybe even parts of Massachusetts. And then if you go to the northern part of Maine into parts of Atlantic Canada, you can see all this wildfire smoke that's now streaming westward from these fires burning in Quebec and Ontario, I believe. So we have more fires, and we'll look at all of that now. So this is an old satellite loop from this afternoon. I wanted to keep it up, but we'll look at now at the more current one here. And you get to see those fires. Look at that. Wow, they're putting out a lot of smoke. Look at that. So, yeah, lots of smoke now. We're not going to get into any of that, fortunately. That's going to stay to our north. But lots of smoke that's up to our north now. But we're in the southerly flow. So, if we had the low in the Gulf of Maine, it would be a different story. But because we have the easterly and then we'll be coming southerly flow, and you'll see the clouds kind of streaming up from the south. But you still have that high that kind of kept all that rain away. And let's see, we'll look at the radar here, and you'll see there's nothing on it. Nothing at all, in fact. So let's go take a look at what the sky looked like today, because we actually have some breaks of blue. We had mostly cloudy conditions, but you can see here some breaks of blue actually in the sky today. Yes, some breaks of blue a little bit. This is what the sky looked like. Yes, I was actually in the Hicksville area today for a change, because I just had to get away from all the arrogant people on the South Shore. I just couldn't deal with them today. It was nice for a change. But you can see all these clouds here that were in the sky today, filling the sky. But again, it's like a deck of low clouds here. No smoke. You can see the blue sky in between them. Yeah, that's what the sky looked like today. And then that's all like what it looked like toward the little later on. It's around 6 o'clock or so. So you can see the clouds are kind of interesting to look at. But anyway, looking at your weather map right now, you see we have this low warm front off to the south, low pressure over the southeast. There's a high over, looks like southern Ontario and the Great Lakes. Then we have this frontier, and you'll see this is again where the storminess is southeast. And again, the almost the Rocky Mountain area almost. Denver got quite a storm last night as well, by the way. Pretty crazy what's going on. Looking at the radar here, and hopefully this radar will be up to date on like last night. You'll see here area of rain over Ohio. We never really got into that steady rain. You can see some storminess over the southeast, but nothing like what we had last night. Last night was pretty crazy, especially in Texas, where there were a lot of power outages from that, and there's still probably quite a few. Texas is now down to 80,000, but that storm knocked out a lot of power, and I shared some images of the damage, even some transmission lines and some trees blown right onto them, which is pretty crazy. That's what happens when you have winds of 100 miles an hour, It was pretty nuts. If we go here and we go to the Weather Service site, and I'll just put Houston in, so we'll get the Houston. See, they'll probably have a summary of the storms here, and obviously they're dealing with the heat. But let's go to the summary of the storms and see if they've got a link of that in their social media. Let's see if they actually did provide a link to that, because those storms were something else. Let's see if they actually had a. Yeah, here are the wind gust reports. So here they are. 97 miles an hour in Intercontinental, also known as Bush Airport. 80 miles an hour in Spring. 70 miles an hour in the Woodlands. So some pretty strong winds going on over there. It was kind of unexpected to have such a strong storm. It was a microburst type of storm. Center point energy obviously hit very hard, and you can see, we'll look at some of the pictures here they have of some of the damage, which they did actually put up here. Can't really see anything in this picture. Oh yeah, there you go. There's a tree on a transmission line right there. That's a transmission line. That's got a tree right there on it. So, yeah. Lots of damage from those high winds. That's what caused most of the outages. Lightning did cause some of them, but generally speaking, um, again, some of the damage. A lot of poles snapped, wires down. That looks like that could be a sub-transmission line. I don't know. That might just be a regular distribution line there. Tree on that, and then this. Take a look at this. This is the shot I shared with you. There is a. It's actually arcing on this transmission line. You see the lights. That's where it's arcing right there. That's actually a pine tree that's on there. It could be I don't know what kind of pines they have in that part of Texas. They're slash pines or longleaf pines, but you can see that tree is on this transmission line. So and that transmission line is live and carrying power, and so it's arcing. And that's again something that's we saw that flashing going on. It was pretty nuts, really was. So let's go to the Storm Prediction Center, and you'll see not quite as active as last night. We still got the slight risk in those areas like Colorado and parts of northeast New Mexico, and maybe a small part of Texas into Oklahoma, but nothing really crazy going on. And let's see, day 2, it looks like it ramps up a little more tomorrow to an enhanced risk. Again, it looks like in that general same area as what we've been dealing with yesterday here. So yeah, it's mainly the just east of the Rocky Mountains, that dealing with this severe risk that we've been having. So let's go to our weather map here, our observation map here, and you'll see again we have all this heat going on. We got a lot of red flag warnings in the whole entire state of New Mexico. We got some flash flood warnings in parts of Wyoming, and these are the areas: Wyoming, Colorado. Getting a lot of these storms, they're getting a lot of rain there. And they got quite a bit of rain, and we're going to look at that too. And also we have constant raininess also in interior parts of the southeast, bringing lots of flood. Air quality alerts in effect for parts of the Great Lakes due to wildfire smoke. We put the observations on the map here, and we'll take a look and see what we got in our area, and then we'll go back to those other areas. If we can load these observations, that would be good. You can see very hot. Look at that, 100 degrees at Del Rio. At least the dew point is down to 65, so maybe those storms did drop the dew points a little bit. So you see this excessive heat warning scaled back a little bit, but still pretty hot in Texas. 90 degrees, dew point 71 in Austin. You're dealing with a lot of heat. We'll go look at the highs in Texas today. Let's see what they did. Maybe it was a little better than yesterday. A little bit better. Yeah, a little bit better than yesterday. Not record territory, but still pretty damn hot, I might add. And then if we can look at the precipitation, and we'll go and look at that. I'm curious to see how much Denver got, because that was quite a bit of rain that fell over Denver last night. I was looking at it on there, that time-lapse thing, and it had to have been at least. Let's go to a 36-hour. A lot of rain, probably. Oh yeah, 3 inches plus. Not surprised. So let's go into our area. It was just remarkable to see what was going on last night with those storms in Texas. But let's go to our area and take a look at some observations in our area, and take a look at what it was like at Islip today. And get this to load. That would be good. Just wants to spin around. All right, we have some observations. It's not displaying all of them. There we go. Islip 66, dew point 61, east-northeast winds. So we've had northeast winds. Not much rain today. I think all we had were a couple of sprinkles, and that was pretty much it. Nothing really. And it was on the cool side again. Only highs only in the low 70s with that east wind, and pretty gusty too at times. But no rain. Just kind of similar to yesterday, I guess. Maybe just a touch more humid, but no rain. To speak of. We still got that east wind, so warm front hasn't passed yet. The humidity's starting to increase a little more now, but other than that, it's been, if you've been in Jersey, they probably had a little more in the way of humidity over there. So let's see, 64, not really a big difference there. 61, not really a big difference there. So I'll put the highs on the screen, and I don't think much of it, anyone really got any rain to speak of. So highs, today was a real bust with the rain. It really was. Highs only around 70, 72 at Islip, 72, low 70s at the Quad. You had some up to 60s, and not much warmer in Jersey. In fact, a little cooler there, mid 60s. Precipitation, I mean, I could look at the lows, but I don't think they dropped all that much. We can look at the lows, but I don't think we really got much in the way. Yeah, lows generally around 60 degrees. Precipitation, not much. Let's see. Yeah, all right. Some areas in Nassau got maybe a little bit of rain, but very little bit. 0.02, 0.06. Yeah, it's really just barely anything. Really was a real bust today with the rain, I gotta say. A real bust. None of the models are really showing that either, which was really kind of interesting. It turned out to be a real bust. So let's go to the official climate report for Islip. And we were 6 degrees below normal today at Islip. Central Park, 9 degrees below normal. The high was 13 degrees below normal. It was only 69. Man, let's get that east wind. That's what'll do it. That east wind will do it. That's for sure. So let's go to the National Hurricane Center. The next thing to talk about, Brett, Tropical Storm Brett. Maximum sustained wind 65 miles an hour. So Brett, center of Brett is approaching St. Vincent and St. Lucia. Heavy rains and strong winds expected in portions of the Lesser Antilles through tonight around 8 p.m. Location 13.4 north, 60.3 west, 55 miles southeast of St. Lucia, and about 60 miles west-northwest of Barbados. Maximum sustained winds are 65 miles an hour. So it's holding its strength. It's moving west at 16 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 29.65 inches. And generally, if you look at the cone here, which we'll go here, you'll see again that this pretty much stays well to the south. And fortunately for Puerto Rico and the Dominican, it'll stay well to the south. It might brush Aruba. That's how far south this thing will go. But it will not be an issue for anywhere near here, fortunately. Now we have Tropical Depression 4, and that's another thing that could come a little closer. And that's the one we will have to watch. And they have it actually becoming a tropical storm by tomorrow. So let's go to tropical tidbits here, and we'll go to the current storms, and we'll look at and first we'll look at the visible satellite imagery. We'll go to the MODIS, which is this over here. So you'll see this is Brett over here, looking pretty healthy, I might add, and this is 4 over here. So it looks like something else over here. I mean, there's a whole lot. This could become something too. So as a whole, I mean, it's very early to see all these Cape Verde storms already occurring. Usually we don't see this until August at the earliest. So very unusual to see. This storm, you can see it's got some pretty good outflow on 4. So, and this here is Brett. So it's moving, again, it's moving toward these islands over here, Barbados. But it's going to be moving into the Caribbean Sea. But this one will have to be a little more concerned about. All right. So let's go back to the satellite imagery. We'll look at the satellite loop. So this is the satellite loop, the enhanced satellite loop of Brett. And oh, yeah, a lot of convection blowing up there. So this could be strengthening here. It's not terribly organized, but it's got good outflow, and it's going to keep its strength, I think, with that outflow. And then we have TD4. This is TD4, looking also pretty impressive as well. Yep, some good convection blowups right there as well. So yeah, it's looking. These storms are looking. It's early in the season, but this season could be relatively active, for sure. And we will look at the models, and you'll see it takes it into the It takes it out into the Atlantic, but luckily it should hopefully recurve. But this is far away. This is GEPS ensembles. There are a few that actually take it close to us, as you can see. But that's like way in the distance. All right. Wouldn't it be something if we could get a tropical storm in June? I don't know if that's ever happened here. Your intensity guidance on 4 keeps it as a tropical storm. Doesn't really get it too strong. And then we'll have Brett. Going back to Brett, and you can see Brett pretty much in agreement here as to where this is going to track into Central America. So let's go back to the MODIS satellite and the next thing that we'll talk about. And this, again, is your whole thing of moisture that's going to be plaguing us for a while. And then if you look to the north, here's all the smoke. And you can see lots of smoke now coming from Ontario. It looks like some big fires going on in northern Ontario right there. And that smoke is all moving. It's not moving toward us. It's moving. It's getting picked up, and it's going to be actually moved. Could be moving over Greenland. It looks like it's moving over parts of the Canadian Maritimes, Newfoundland. But it's probably going to make it to Europe. and they can have some pretty smoke, or even Iceland perhaps. So it's going to make this smoke. That's a big smoke plume. That's going to definitely make it to Europe for sure, and we'll have to watch that. Um, let's go to the observations here. I want to go back to the observations, or did I close it up? I think I closed it up. Didn't I? If I did, let's see. I'll try to find it. Yeah, I got it. All right. So here we go. Put the observations, and you'll see that smoke is being observed in some areas here. So put the observations and look at Canada here, and they've had some pretty warm temperatures too up here as well. So if you look at Labrador City, for instance, 77, and they're reporting smoke with a 4-mile visibility. So there is surface smoke up there, and you can see, and they got pretty warm today too. Yeah, they got up to 86, and you can see the smoke that they had visibility got is getting lower. Then they had it down to 3 miles too. So if we were in a different setup, we would be getting into this, but fortunately, we're not. Instead, we're going to be getting into some humidity, but at least we won't be dealing with the smoke. But this smoke is going to make it pretty far, I think. In fact, some of these sites could even be reporting smoke as well. I'm kind of curious if they are that far north. That one says fog, but a lot of these are going to be reporting smoke. Let's see what they've got in New Finland here, if they're reporting smoke as well. 57. I don't see smoke being reported there. Let's see. I'll find one. You got to find one that's a little more. Yeah, Canada. Here we go. 8 miles. Not reporting smoke at all. Gander International Airport. But again, we're going to have to watch for this because those fires, there's not going to really be much relief up there. Nothing really changes up there. It's going to stay dry. So let's go to the models now. And here's our, and again, this high was a little stronger. This low had a little less moisture with it, so it kind of was a bust for the rain. So as we get into this week, you'll see that area of low pressure. It goes to just west of the Appalachians. So it keeps us in the southerly flow, pretty much west of it or over it. Keeps us in the southerly flow. You notice most of the rain is inland. It's going to be pop-up shower type of thing, not a steady. So pop-up shower, thunderstorm, not a really steady kind of rain thing. We continue with it again on Saturday. You'll see no rain at all up in Canada, by the way. And then, again, same thing for Sunday. Here comes another low over the Great Lakes. This low might bring some rain to where the fires are. It might. It could also be thunderstorms, which won't help matters. And then we're going to try to get out of it maybe sometime this week. We'll maybe get some drier air in. Though, again, it might be smoky if those fires are still going, and they probably will be. So, anyway, let's go take a look at the HRRR model, which we should have fully in now. 0Z. So, yeah, the models are way off with this. So, this does bring some showers in for tomorrow afternoon. It brings a couple of showers in the afternoon, just a couple. And then another batch over New Jersey. And then it's just, you can see it's very scattered in nature. So there really won't even be all that much rain. Total accumulated precip will only be, depending on, if you get a shower, you might get a half an inch. Or maybe even an inch, or maybe even 2 inches in some spots. But if you don't, then you don't get anything. And that's the issue we have. If we look at the dew points here, you'll see we have that easterly wind. And then tomorrow we shift it off to the southeast, which will bring in, again, this tropical air mass. And that's going to keep that, again, more stable on the coast where it's cooler, more instability inland. And then we have the similar thing on Saturday. Winds go a little more southerly. But that should still keep, between that and all the clouds, it probably won't get all that hot, but it will be definitely getting more humid. Looking at your air temperatures, not going to really drop that much tonight. In fact, temperatures rise. And then tomorrow, with that warm front, and then tomorrow will probably be in the mid-70s. The inland areas could get closer to 80, perhaps. Maybe closer to 80 on the North Shore, Central Nassau, if the sun pops out, which is a possible. There will be breaks. And then muggy tomorrow night will only be in the upper mid-60s, upper 60s. And then Saturday, similar deal. So cooler along the coast. If you're inland, it will be warmer, especially if you're in New Jersey, where you could see 80 degrees, and that's where the chance for showers and thunderstorms would be higher. Let's go to the NAM, and I'll look at the NAM. And I don't have enough of the 0Z NAM, but we can look at the 18Z NAM and see if the NAM looks any different from the. It's very hard to predict. See, it's not really, and it's actually bringing a pretty intense area of showers and thunderstorms over Philadelphia and interior parts of New Jersey. That's where the heat and stability are. But along the coast, we have that marine layer, which will keep things more stable. You can see Saturday, a couple of showers here and there. Could be a couple pop-up shower thunderstorm at any time, but it won't be raining all the time either. So it'll just be similar to like Florida, I guess. I guess that's the best way to look at it. And then Sunday, continuing into that situation, we'll look at the GFS here if we want to go a little further. Dew points, you'll see again, southwest winds. They go a little more westerly on Sunday. A little bit. Trying to start off a little more westerly, so that can mean more warmth on Sunday, but then they shift more to the south again. You'll see those dew points stay high. Same thing for Monday. Remain in the southerly flow. And then Tuesday, our last day in the southerly flow. And then we try to get this front through Wednesday. So it kind of gets hung up, and eventually you'll make it offshore. And maybe we'll get some drier air in on Thursday with northwest winds, but it may be smoky. It's a ways away. We don't know what's going to happen with that. All right? But as long as they don't get rain up where those fires are burning, it's probably going to wind up being smoky. So let's go to the air temperatures. So Saturday and then Sunday. It could be Sunday. We could manage to make it to 80 on Long Island, perhaps, or maybe even into the 80s. And then Monday it could heat up more in New Jersey than Long Island. And then it starts cooling off as we get toward Wednesday and Thursday. Near normal temperatures, around 80 at that time. And then we get by Friday, the end of the month, we get into the low 80s, maybe mid 80s, maybe. As far as clouds go, you're going to have plenty of those. I mean, there may be some breaks here and there, but you'll see plenty of clouds for tomorrow. Sunday, it actually is trying to break out some sunshine, so I'll have to see. Maybe there'll be some subsidence. Monday, more clouds, probably because that westerly wind, and then I don't want to go that far out. Let's go to the RGM next. So this is the RGM model here, and you'll see, again, look like there was like a little break over the east end there, but plenty of clouds for tomorrow, and then Saturday, it's also showing plenty of clouds as well, and Sunday. So, I don't think we'll see any. We'll see some breaks, but as far as any sunny skies, I doubt it. You never know. You might. It's hard to predict what's going to happen. But with this high humidity around, and the cloud cover, it's going to bring a lot of cloud cover. And the RGM is another model we could use for precipitation. There's a low resolution model though, so keep that in mind. The RGM looks pretty wet for tomorrow, actually, and less wet for Saturday. This may be overdoing it, I think. I think it is overdoing it. We'll go to the NAM 12 and compare it to the NAM 12 because it's similar to that. This is the NAM 12. But it's not really showing a whole lot. If we run the NAM 12 through all the way through weekend here, as far as how much rainfall, it seems like most of it's going to wind up being over New Jersey. Again, that marine layer is just going to kind of inhibit the shower and thunderstorm development for us, and more of it will be over New Jersey, I think. If we go to Ventus Sky here, which we'll look at here, look at thunderstorm risk for tomorrow, 23rd. It's not really going to... It's some cape over New Jersey, so that's where the storms generally develop, would be over New Jersey, I think. Not so much over Long Island, again, because of that southeasterly flow. Clouds, obviously plenty of that. I'm just curious to see where there'll be fog, and I think there could be fog along the coast, perhaps, due to that high humidity. Over those cooler water temperatures. Again, water temperatures are only in the low 60s, so you're taking that higher dew point air. You might get some fog. You might. So, lastly, we'll do a look at the smoke models here. Though, again, we're not going to be dealing with any of the smoke, so I may not be looking at these at least until maybe Sunday. But we'll do one more look at these. 21Z. Again, we're not really going to be dealing with it because of the flow in the atmosphere. It's going to mainly be Canada, but you'll see that big cloud of smoke there heading for Europe. Yes, it's heading for Europe. Europe is right here. So I think they're going to see it all the way in Europe. That's crazy. Yeah, the smoke's going to make it all the way to Europe. Yeah, I believe it. And then you also have near-surface smoke, too. I wonder if that'll make it to Europe. That would be something if it makes it that far. Let's get the near surface smoke. That might even make it out. You can see, look at how dense it is over here. Really dense over parts of Canada. And who knows, maybe it'll make it to Europe. Don't rule it out. Don't rule it out. That's for sure. And like I said, once the winds shift, if we got a Canadian flow from this part of Canada, we'll be dealing with it again perhaps next week for sure. Again, because not much rain is coming for that part of Canada. Let me look at a few more satellite loops while we're here. I'm just going to go to the Canada, northern U.S. loop here. So we'll do a 60 frame loop here. Just get an idea. Yeah, these fires are really going here. So, yeah. They're really flaring up. Look at that. Wow, look at that frame right there. Just lots of smoke all over Ontario. I don't go back. Kind of glad we're not in a southerly flow. Because if I'm kind of glad we're not in a northerly flow. Because if we were, we'd be into this really thick smoke. But fortunately, it's going to get it's going to be moving away from us. Fortunately, instead we'll be dealing with this tropical air mass. But that smoke is, it's not good to have that smoke around for that long. It almost looks like there's smoke over here too. I don't know if that's cloud. I think that's just clouds. But yeah, it's nuts. And there's not going to be much rain for Canada. Again, if we go to the models here. If I take this to the North American view, and we can look at total accumulated precip here. Oh, I can't look at that, right? Let's see. Maybe I could change it to Canada. We can get. I don't know if they've got a Canadian view here. Let's see if they've got a Canadian view. They really don't. Unfortunately, they don't. They don't. If you'd have to go to the Canadian model, which would have that. If we went to regions, probably would have Canada on here, or maybe not. All right, I thought maybe it would. But the case is, you're not going to see much rain up there. The CONUS is the best view we have for the GFS, and total accumulated precip. You'll see here. It's all south of where the fires are burning. Because the fires are burning, we can run this all the way through to. We'll run it a week. We'll run it a week ahead. So to the end of the month, and you can see all the rain here is going to be south of where these fires are. So if we go and we look at the MODIS satellite again, which should be up here somewhere, you'll see the fires are mainly. This is Hudson Bay right here. The fires are north of that. Some of them are south of it, so we'll see. Maybe some rain could get up there, but it's really going to be tough to really get any rain, and then there could be more thunderstorms that could spark more fires. So the smoke will be back eventually, but right now we're just going to deal with a more typical summer weather with humidity and some sunshine here and there. But that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night.